This is a special episode.
Pumped about that. Joe Orrico is a writer and producer at Fantasy Pros, and was nice enough to come on.
It's nice to kind of step away from fantasy for a while and just look at a nice grid. Play
Welcome to Ordinary Effort, where a bunch of random guys get some random baseball players and try not to biff the grid. I'm Mike here with my buddy Josh, and Josh, this is a special episode for a couple reasons. One being that this is the first episode we're recording not sequentially. We
Yep.
got sick of getting Phillies MVP and Gold Glove and Rangers same stuff all the time, so we're mixing it up. And we also have a special guest on with us.
Yeah, pumped about that. So, as we've said before, Mike and I play fantasy baseball together. So, as you do, if you know fantasy baseball, you follow a bunch of guys, try to get all the intel you can for your team, which is how I met this guest. So, Joe Orrico is a writer and producer at Fantasy Pros, and was nice enough to come on, knock out a grid with us. So, yeah, let's bring him on, Joe. Thanks for being with us, man.
Guys, I really appreciate you having me on. Like I said to you before we started, before we got going tonight, it's a nice mix up. We play fantasy baseball. We talk about fantasy baseball. I know that it's probably too much of a focus in my life, so it's nice to kind of step away from fantasy for a while and just look at a nice grid. I do love Immaculate Grid, so this should be a great time.
There's never
Yeah.
enough fantasy baseball as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, with that, so Joe, you're a Blue Jays fan. So, Mike, you're a Mets fan. I mean, I've said before I'm a Yankees fan, but Dodgers is a historic team. So I'm pretty excited about this one. I mean, where do you guys want to start? Mike, you
Joe,
got
where do
any?
you want to start is the real question. You're the guest.
Yeah,
Where do you want to start?
I guess it's only fitting we start with the Blue Jay.
let's do it. Yeah.
Maybe we start in the bottom left. We go born outside of the U.S. and D.C.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that are kind of in my mind here. Matt Stairs was a Canadian for the Blue Jays.
Oh,
Michael Saunders also played for the Blue Jays for a while. He was a Mariners outfielder who spent a bit of time in Toronto. There's Russell Martin, who is also a pretty well-known Canadian. I'm trying to think of who would give you the lowest percentage there. Russell Martin, I'm guessing, would probably score fairly high, fairly well
mm.
known. But it doesn't have to just be Canadians. It could be anything you want, really. So do you guys have anything that's kind of coming to mind? I like Matt Stairs. I feel like he's pretty obscure, but anything rolling around your head?
Stairs is a
Yeah.
good one. I know he played for a lot of teams. I don't know that I would have recalled that he played for the Blue Jays off the top of my head, to be honest with you. And I don't know if I knew if he was Canadian either. So
Okay.
Yeah.
that one might be a sneaky one.
Okay.
Saunders is good too. I remember him, as you said him, I remember him, but I forgot about him entirely. So, I mean, I usually go like, I mean, I feel like Vlad Jr. is
Vlad
too
Jr., yeah.
obvious. Raul Mondesi, right, played for the Blue Jays at one point. Or am I
Yeah.
mixing up my? I
Yeah.
think
No,
yeah, he
you're
was up there.
right.
No, he played for the Jays, yeah.
Josh, do you
Um,
have anything?
I mean, sometimes I try to think of relievers, and I'm just thinking of Yimi Garcia. Not entirely sure, if he's outside US and DC. I like Saunders a lot on that list. I mean, like Mike said, I wouldn't have known some of these Canadian guys, but I think Saunders is a great one from that list. I wouldn't mind
Go
bumping that,
Saunders.
but
sure, Saunders is
yeah,
probably going to be pretty low, I would imagine, yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good one.
Michael Saunders,
Ooh,
0.3% starting with a hidden gem.
Nice.
ooh,
Love that. Yeah.
we
Beautiful.
we're on a hot streak.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to maybe go up this column maybe?
Do
Like
you
do
guys have a do you guys
Mets?
usually have a certain way you go about it? Do you zigzag
We,
or
we usually try to knock out the ones we dread the most.
Yeah.
okay?
So like
Yeah.
What's
this is
daunting?
Yeah.
better.
What's daunting on here for you guys? What's the square you're
Ooh,
not looking forward to here?
These are
good
all interesting to
question.
me, to be honest with you. You want to go up the left side, Josh? Get one of these for each row,
Sure.
and then we'll
Yeah.
go over.
Yeah. There's nothing that I mean, I'm not saying we're gonna knock this out of the park, but I get upset about Silver Slugger, Gold Glove, those subjective awards a little
Yeah,
bit. We
I
don't have that
can't.
here. So yeah, I don't mind going up the column. Like Mike, I know you're a big Mets fan, so I mean would anyone come to mind here or
Does anyone come to mind? No, I got nothing here. So yeah, I mean, first thing I think of, I don't know why I do this. I either go like to, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, or like Japan, Korea. Um, Often forget that Canada, I just assume, I lump Canada in as like, no, they're from here. But, um, There's a guy though, actually, so there's two guys in baseball history who have had the last name Takahashi, and both of them had played for the Mets. I
Oh.
don't know why I know this. I think they were both relief pitchers. There's Ken Takahashi, and then there's something with an M, but I might go with the length of career. Okay, Ken Takahashi had one season, so I feel
Oh,
pretty
man.
confident that he's going to be pretty low.
Yeah, he'd be pretty
Um,
good, I would imagine. My thought was
Yeah.
But Jason Bay was the only one that came to mind for me.
I
And I
can't,
Oh.
I, c- I can't do Jason
Yeah,
Bay after the career
the
he had
Mets
in New
fans
York.
have like a
He's
visceral
like,
reaction to Jason
oh
Bay. It's so funny. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
we have a lot of guys that killed us either against us or being terrible for us, and he had a rough go here. Jason
yeah.
Bay would work though.
I mean,
I
Josh, you
mean,
got anything?
I
Oh,
mean,
sorry,
no,
go
I
ahead.
mean,
I was gonna say a 1 year reliever, like that's probably gonna be
I was
like
gonna say like I could
All
think of
right.
some people, but they're not gonna be as good as this.
All
So
right,
I think if you're,
Ken Takahashi it is.
yes, I
Oh,
mean like if you remember Ken Takahashi, then
yeah,
you got to put
baby.
him on your grid. Yeah, it's pretty.
0.02. We'll take that.
Yeah.
All right, Dodgers.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this because the Yankees signed Victor Gonzalez, or was that trade this offseason?
Mm,
And he was one of the Dodgers arms they got. It was him and I think Caleb Ferguson, maybe two separate trades. So Victor Gonzalez, I think, works here. I always try to think of those relievers because I feel like people leave them out on their grid. I mean, there's a Dodgers, there's a lot of options we could go with, I think, but that's one. There's also I don't know. Hanley Ramirez had a stint on the Dodgers.
oh
Um,
wow.
but I don't again some there are some Latin American players who like I wrongly assume were born outside of the US who were just born in the US. So I don't exactly know if Hanley was born outside the US or not,
yeah,
but
that's a tricky one. He might be American. I'm not 100% sure
yeah,
there.
yeah, I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure Victor Gonzalez was born outside the US. I just remember
Mm.
like looking it up when he was traded.
I mean,
But I don't know.
you
What
also
do you
got
guys
like
think of? Yeah.
you've also got like Hideo Nomo, Kaz
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ishii, Kenta
True.
Maeda. Oh, Paxton, James Paxton's on the
James
Dodgers now, right?
Paxton, that's a good one. My
Yeah.
Canadian, because I'm gonna be the Canadian
Yeah,
contributor on
do
this
it.
There you
column,
go.
was Eric Gagne, but he might be a little too high. Like he might be a little too well
Oh,
known as a Cy Young winner.
Mm,
Russell Martin would
yeah.
also work for the Dodgers,
that's true.
hypothetically. Who else is there?
Oh,
You.
What else we
what
got?
about Hee-Sub Choi? He played first base for you guys for the Dodgers for a little while, right?
Oh, I don't
Am
remember
I making
that.
this up? For some
I don't
reason, I
know.
think wasn't he in the home run derby once? Like he wasn't in the All-Star game, but he was part of the home run derby, and I want to say it was with the Dodgers. I
Mm,
don't know. I might
that's
be
I got nothing
misremembering.
there.
Yeah, you
The other
stumped
one
me
is
there.
Miguel Rojas. But
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like he was very. I mean, he was recently notable with the World Baseball Classic, or maybe that's just like I like him a lot. So I was just like following. He was playing for Latin American teams. I don't know. We got some good out of the ones we've listed. I feel like we could pick any one of those. Be pretty good.
yeah. Joe, what do you want to do with this one? You make the call.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Man, I feel like Paxton might be good because sometimes those recent ones are actually really low percentage because everybody's always trying to
Yeah.
go for like the old school guys.
That's true.
Paxton
Yeah.
might kind of slip under the radar potentially. That's kind
You
of where
know,
I'm leaning.
you know what else I'm thinking too?
Yeah.
This grid was probably out 7, 8 months ago before Paxton was actually had played a game for Dodgers. So unless people are going back and doing this,
That's a
they
Mm.
good
wouldn't have
point.
been able to put him when this grid came out.
I
That's
also
a
think if
good
it was
point.
like if it was Mariners or Yankees, like people I think yeah, I think Paxton's a great pick, I think, for
Yeah.
Dodgers for this one. Yeah. I'd say
Let's
let's go
go.
with it. Yeah.
James Paxton. Point
Oh,
zero
Man.
zero 4%. We need a new level of hidden gem for that. Like that's by far
Yeah.
the lowest score
I
we've
gotta
got.
be honest, like I think like Joe, we didn't plan to have you on like and have a US outside of US and that you're the Canadian like whisperer here, but like I did not think of Canadian players for this one because I just don't I didn't know I knew Paxton was Canadian. I didn't know Russell Martin or those guys. So yeah, nice. All right. Good
You want to
going.
go? You want to go to 300 career homers next?
The Blue Jays one is going to be a pretty straightforward answer because there's only been one Blue Jay who's hit 300 home runs as a Blue Jay, and it's Carlos Delgado. I actually was tweeting about him earlier today. It's funny. I mean, this is only people who hit 300, like they had to hit all 300 with Toronto, right?
No. So they had to have played for Toronto at some point, but
So you've got some
Oh,
options. You got
yeah. So
options.
okay. I thought it had to be 300 with the Blue Jay jersey on, because in that case it would be 100% Delgado. But
Yeah.
that's okay. That is an interesting wrinkle. Then okay, we have a lot of options then actually.
Yeah, you got a lot. Yeah, right. So when it's a season statistic, it had to be done in the season, like with the team. Career ones, you've got options. So
mhm.
yeah, anybody
Okay.
who could have like hit, they didn't even have to hit a home run with the Blue Jays. If they played with the Blue Jays at a point in their career,
Right.
That's
they
true.
count.
So Edwin Encarnacion, there's Batista,
Yeah.
there is Delgado, Joe Carter, Paul Molitor get the 300? Probably,
Ooh.
maybe. I don't know if he did he. Maybe.
I know he had a pretty long career. Was he like, I don't know that he was like prolific home run hitter like that though.
Yeah, I would have
I mean,
thought
it was just,
maybe on volume, like
mm.
Yeah.
not on like a short period, but he played like 20 years. He might have got there. I don't think Alomar got there, but he's kind of persona non grata these days. Who else? Sean Green, did he get the 300 home runs?
I think he did, and he works for any of these teams actually.
Sean, yeah, you're right.
Oh
He
So
yeah.
does.
who actually? Yeah. Who is he least? Who would he be least associated with? I don't think it's the Dodgers.
I think it's Toronto. Well, he started with Toronto. Maybe it's the Mets because it was kind of at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that if we're gonna use him for one of those boxes, like
Is he
yeah, I
for
would
sure a
say
300 homer guy
yeah,
though?
good point though.
I
Yeah.
think he is. I
Yeah.
think he is. I feel like I used him on another grid, and for some reason, I feel reasonably confident that he is.
Jose Canseco is also kind of a sneaky Blue Jay. I don't know if a lot of people are going to
Oh,
associate him with Toronto. Who else? Frank Thomas played for the Blue Jays for a couple of years at the end.
oh wow,
Oh,
I
you
didn't
know who else
remember
did?
that.
Fred McGriff too.
McGriff.
Oh, he also works for Dodgers too. He only played 1 year, I think, with the Dodgers. So we've got options there
We have
too.
options.
We're pretty
Okay.
flush. We're pretty flush right now, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
All
We could
right.
just sweep this row. I mean,
So what if we do? I blanked on half the Blue Jays names already. Who do we
yeah,
like? Who do we
yeah.
think are like the best for the Blue Jays? You think it's
Who's the most obscure or the one that you would never have thought played for the Jays?
I forgot that Frank Thomas played for the Jays,
Yeah, I gotta be
He hit his
to be
honest.
500.
honest.
Yeah.
He hit his 500th as a J, I believe, in the old Metrodome in Minnesota. I believe, if memory serves. But definitely a Blue Jay for I believe 2 seasons in the mid 2000s there. But I think it's a kind of an obscure one. Um,
I kind of
Um,
like it.
I
I
kind of
don't
like
think
it.
people are gonna remember Frank Thomas played for the Blue Jays.
no, there's two Okay, it's clearly
Yeah,
the
yeah,
more
yeah.
recent one.
Let's see.
5%.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Compared to what we've been doing, though, it's brutal. I mean, we've been
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is
I
all,
know.
yeah.
All of a sudden, five feels awful.
The grid is
Like,
ruined.
yeah, forget it, guys. Yeah. Yeah.
Gross.
Mike, I
So
mean, do you want to use Sean Green? You got someone else or
Sean Green is tempting. Guy I like to use on this type of stuff, like Sheffield.
oh
Played
Sheffield.
very
yeah.
briefly for the end at the end of his career with the Mets. Um,
Oh, you know what we were talking the other day, Mike, about Joe Torre, who like surprised me with his numbers. And he had like a couple just amazing offensive seasons.
yeah,
But I don't know if he hit 300.
I don't think he did. I think he
Okay,
came
okay,
close. I don't think he did.
okay.
Because I thought about
Yeah,
him too. I know he won like I think he won MVP at some
he
point.
did. He did with
Yeah.
St. Louis or yeah, doesn't matter.
Or the Braves. I
Yeah,
I think we go Sean Green here.
yeah,
I think
Yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah.
it's SHAW, right? Yeah,
93 to 07. That sounds right. Yeah.
that's it.
Nice.
0.6%. All right,
Yeah,
we're doing
that's good.
okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's
Dodgers,
the right one. Yeah. Dodgers.
do we want to go McGriff? You said oh, you know who else works here? Eddie Murray played for the Dodgers at the end of I think it was the end of his career also. And I think he
Yeah.
hit like 500 something home runs.
Who's somebody
Um,
who maybe just spent like a year or two or
Yeah,
like
I was thinking that too.
oh,
Manny
Manny
Ramirez,
Ramirez.
That's Manny.
Yeah.
Also
Adrian
Jim Tomey.
Beltre. Tomei was
Beltre works. Tomey, I think, had a
was a
brief stint with the Dodgers.
I think you're right,
Might have been a
actually.
year or two. So he
Did
had
he really?
Cleveland, he had
Philly, the White
Philly.
Sox.
Yeah, I think towards the end of his career he had Dodgers.
I gotta
I,
say it, but I don't know if it's a great one. But is anybody gonna even think to put Freddie Freeman in this square? I gotta put it out there. I don't think it's
Oh,
amazing, but it might just be one of those so obvious that no one thinks of it ones. I don't know. It's kind of
mm,
risky.
yeah, right, because he's already hit 300, right?
has he?
Yeah,
He probably has. Yeah.
Freddie, I believe he has. Yeah, it's just a matter of if people are gonna immediately go for the modern guys or for the older
Yeah,
guys. When I'm playing this myself, I don't know about you guys. Like, I tend to just like go deep into the memory bank and try and think of some obscure guy from the 70s
yeah,
or whatever.
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, we've been there for sure.
So I
yeah.
could see Freeman being passed up. There's just so many options for the Dodgers. I can't even, I wonder how many players have played for the Dodgers and hit
Oh
300 home
yeah.
runs. It's probably a
Probably
That
quite a
there
stupid
has to
few.
be
number.
a ton, yeah.
Yeah.
You also got Piazza,
Yeah, it's
who
You also
works here,
you also have Jeff
who
Kent, I think,
yeah.
Jeff
works here
Kent.
too.
Did Adrian Gonzalez hit 300? Probably.
Oh, it's a good one too. I like the idea of some of these like I mean, Manny or Fred McGriff stick out to me just because they had such short stints there.
Yeah.
Manny, I feel like maybe it's just such a memorable figure that at least I remember him on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas McGriff, I just think brave, and I know he played in front of teams, but
It's funny,
don't
McGriff.
think it's
I think Blue Jays with McGriff.
okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. Yeah,
Yeah, I think for me, I'm down to McGriff or Murray because Murray was Cleveland,
yeah.
Baltimore. He played for the Mets. I think he played for the Angels for a bit too, and then for like a not even a full season with the Dodgers.
Mike, do you remember that guy we used, Reggie Smith?
I do remember
Who
Reggie Smith.
and I just this was because Adam, the guy who oversees Immaculate Grid, had tweeted about this guy Reggie Smith with like a 60 WAR. We can save him actually for he might be a good one for another box here. He
Was he on
played
the
for the
Dodgers?
Dodgers and the Red Sox.
Oh,
So
okay.
we could, but I'm not sure he hit 300 home runs, but I know he had 40 WAR. So just to
All
little
right.
thing
So
there, but
do
yeah,
you
why
want to
don't we
go?
knock one of those guys like McGriff or Murray? Um, McGriff had less home runs, so if people are thinking like, I think right, then Murray, right? Because
Yeah,
Murray,
he had
um,
493. He was just shy of 500. I
hmm,
feel like people just forget about Eddie Murray though.
yeah, I
Like
wouldn't
I
have think
feel
him
like
on the
he just
Dodgers. Yeah, yeah,
you guys going okay, but like I don't want
I'm
to
okay
push
with
here, but
either. I'm
I'm
okay with
good with
either.
it.
I
Yeah,
think they're both going to score pretty well.
yeah, I think Andy Murray, I think are Orioles, so I think that's a good one. Yeah,
3%.
nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
And
nice.
now, Josh, you said you're sure Reggie Smith is 40
Yeah,
career
so that
WAR
was
and he played.
part of what Adam was like talking about is basically like this guy should be in the Hall of Fame, is not. So Reggie Smith works here for sure.
Let's do it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
very
0.2%.
nice.
yeah, this guy had like over 2,000 hits, something like 60 WAR, not in the Hall. One of those guys really close, but
Shout out
yeah,
to Adam again. Thank you.
yeah,
This
right,
guy's
yeah,
new to us.
So this is just
Um,
again just to clarify, just 40 plus WAR in their career. It does not have to be for that
exactly.
team. So,
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
hmm. One that popped to mind for the Mets, I don't know if he has 40, but Moises Alou had a stint at the end there. That's kind of a
Mm,
sneaky one.
Yeah.
There's a
yeah.
couple of guys you mentioned, Sheffield.
Yep.
Who else? Delgado played for the Mets, kind of a sneaky one as well. Although I don't know how sneaky that one really is. He was there for 3 or 4 years.
You know, didn't Yogi Berra end his career with the
Oh,
Mets?
You,
or
I
did he
w-
you might be right about
manage
that.
or both? I don't know. Like I know he managed maybe the Mets or no.
I think he played
You might be
and so
right.
did
Yeah.
I think Yogi Berra works for this one. And obviously
Yeah.
everybody thinks of him as a Yankee, so
True.
that could be a sneaky one.
I honestly didn't know he played for the Mets, so that would be news to me because I'm not a big like Yankee historian, but that is surprising to hear that he played for the Mets. I thought he was a career Yankee.
Yeah.
I
I
think he
think you
was
might be
except for one
right.
year.
Yeah. I think you might be right.
You want to go Yogi?
It's kind of like a visual of him with the Mets uniform on, and I just can't remember if it's manager or player. But if you feel good about him playing at the end, then I think go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did.
All right.
I
There we go.
apologize if I biff on this here.
Oh,
0.9%.
Yeah.
this is a pretty beautiful looking grid here. What is this?
This is
5% total? 8%? Oh no, we had the 5 on Frank Thomas.
Yeah, you've
yeah.
got a good mix here, though, guys. Joe,
we
I mean, you
keep?
get to close us out. I mean, what do
Yeah,
you
bring us
like?
home, Joe.
I mean, can we keep it under 10 here with a beauty?
It's
Eight.
close.
It's
It might be
close.
just over. It might be just
Okay,
over.
0.9,
all right,
0.3.
yeah.
It's going to be very close.
40 plus WAR who played for the Jays. Who are some obscure Blue
Yeah.
Jays? Roger Clemens is not really obscure. I just don't know if anybody really associates him with the Blue Jays, really. Canseco
Pitcher,
also.
pitcher's WAR is very odd. Like there have
Totally,
been
yeah.
many times where I'm like, oh, this guy was a great pitcher, and his WAR was way lower than I expected it to be, and I get it wrong.
Clemens has got to have 40
Clemens,
though.
Clemens
Gotta.
probably has it. Yeah, you're right.
Do you think David Cohn would have hit 40 WAR? Because he was that he got traded from the Blue Jays, I think, to the Yankees.
He
But
played
I
for the
don't know.
Jays twice.
I don't know.
I think he had two
Yeah.
stints. He did win a World Series in Toronto. I know that. He
I
was
don't
part
know
of
if
the
he I don't
93
know if he had
team.
40 WAR.
He also
I
played
would
for the Mets.
It'd be close. I mean, what a career. I mean, 5 World Series, perfect
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I believe he led the National League in strikeouts a couple times too. 40 WAR is he's probably one of those really close ones.
Really close. Yeah, it'd be a risk, I think. I think we could come up with someone better.
I mean, who else played for the Jays? These are my guys. We can go back and go like a Dave Stieb. That might be a little too on the nose. Ricky Henderson was a Jay for a little while there. I don't know if a lot of people associate him with Toronto.
That's true.
George Bell, I don't know if he would have got to 40. He was an MVP. He had a great career. 40 might be pushing it a little bit. Molitor, who we mentioned earlier, would probably be at 40, I'd imagine.
We also didn't use McGriff, and
We
so
didn't
that's
use
an option
McGriff.
too.
Oh yeah.
McGriff should be
but
at 40.
I think some of those guys might be even better than McGriff.
Damn, who else played for the Jays?
Do you think Mondesi would have gotten there to 40 WAR?
I doubt it.
Yeah. Okay.
Encarnacion, you mentioned earlier. I don't know. Again, similarly, I don't know if he got to 40.
If I had to bet one way or the other, I'd say he probably did, but I don't. I wouldn't bet my life on it.
Yeah, right.
Would you bet it? Would you bet a single digit grid on it?
Yeah. So your life, basically.
Who's the most obscure great Blue Jay? Man. We already used Frank Thomas, but he would have been a good one for this one too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that would have been a good one. Would
Roy Halladay's gonna be like way too high.
Yeah, I think you're right.
AJ Burnett wouldn't have gotten to 40.
David Wells, I think, did.
You know, when you said Wells, it brought up Vernon Wells. I don't know if he got there. The defensive WAR was massive for him. But I think he'd be probably a little short there. And honestly, those years, the last couple of years in Los Angeles and New York probably brought it down if he was above 40.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of options here.
I think you could pick any one of those guys, Joe, honestly. Like, I think...
I guess it's like, who's the most obscure stud? Would you say Canseco, Ricky Henderson?
I think Canseco. I completely blanked on the fact that he played for the Jays. The Henderson, when you said it, it clicked for me. But even when you said Canseco, I had to think about it, and I didn't. It didn't really register for me. That would be mine, I think.
I think that works. Yeah,
kind of lean that way too. Yeah, I don't have memory of him on the Jays, so
it was ugly stuff.
Jose Canseco.
11.
Oh man, what was the Canseco score?
Yeah, we gotta look. Okay,
0.5%.
0.5. I mean,
the fact that we're devastated that we just got an 11.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff, guys.
Just so you know, we've gotten over 500 before.
Yeah, I mean, we've totally messed up on these before. So, yeah, hey, that's pretty good. So, I mean, okay, Joe, we call a hidden gem anything under 1%. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 hidden gems.
7 hidden gems. That'll do it.
That's great stuff.
We get to use this. We haven't done this before.
True.
This is under 15, which we're calling a rarefied air grid. This is
rarefied air,
rarest of the rare. I guess it depends on who you are. Yeah, but this is the first.
You guys this is the lowest score you guys have got?
Oh yeah. We had our second
20s,
grid was 24. Yeah, grid 2 was 24. That was Mets Yankees. and Astros, but
I mean, the
this
channel is called Ordinary Effort. We're very, very ordinary about this. We're not like the guys on Twitter who are posting like, I think this would be probably like some people's worst grid, but this is good, guys. Yeah.
yeah,
Joe,
this is
thanks for
yeah.
coming on, man. I mean, this is a blast.
Guys, I'll come
Thanks
on whenever
for-
you have me. This is fantastic. This is a lot of fun. It's like I said, it's a great mix up of things because usually when I'm preparing a show, it's like have 10 different Fangraphs pages open and Baseball Savant and a million different things. This is just like relaxing. Next time I'll bring a beer along and because it's like that kind of thing, you know. It's really a fantastic time. You guys put a great show together. It's really awesome. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
man. No,
Joe.
this has been great. Well, anytime. You're welcome anytime to join us. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
And if we hadn't said already, check out Joe on Twitter, Joe Orrico 99. Like I said, I mean, at the time we're recording this, I am in first place in our fantasy league, and Joe's quick hits are a big reason of that. I mean, we'll see when we release this if I'm still in first.
I'm coming for you,
Mike
Josh. I'm in
is coming for me.
third or
Yeah.
fourth. I'm coming for you. As always, Ordinary Effort on Instagram and TikTok. There's thumbnails floating around with not better grids than this because this is our best one. So but check out some of the other stuff we've done, and please check Joe out. He's awesome. So yeah, this is great.
Thanks for watching.